I'm gonna wait on my king and revel in the love that he will bring, as only a king can recognize the queen in me, as only a king can acknowledge the divine in he. And the divine in he exists in me, oneness, a real sense of unity. You see, I'm done with the men of the world who cannot recognize a woman's pearl, who are still caught up in their silent battles as their mind and hearts are still shackled. Don't have the strength to break free, but come with a distortion and lower frequency. Not able to elevate to a higher plane because their eyes are blinded by pain. Or their eyes are just filled with lust. You see, they are taking and not sharing, hurting and not caring, and their actions will cause a reaction. And their actions will cause a reaction. And their actions will cause devastation, tribulation, frustration, and anticipation. So I'm going to wait on my king and revel in the love that he has to bring. Love, trust, and oneness, laughter, communication, and happiness, peace, balance, and a vibe called blessed. I'm going to wait on my king and revel in the love that he will bring, as only a king can recognize the queen in me, as only a king can acknowledge the divine in he. And the divine in he exists in me, oneness, a real sense of unity. Greetings. What shall be today shan't be tomorrow. Banish thy thoughts of pain and sorrow, and bless the day for a better tomorrow. So today we're going to talk about the difference between being single and lonely. People sometimes think if a person is single, then they are automatically lonely, and this does not always have to be the case. You can be single and be happy. Being single and you have some people who are not single and they are still lonely. And to be honest, I think that is even worse than you being in a relationship, if you are in a relationship and you feel alone. So being single is not really a bad thing, and it doesn't have to be a negative. But society often dictates to us that if we are single, then something is wrong with us, or we are lonely. Words like spinsters and old maid, those connotations have travelled through the realms of time. Nah, the problem is that if we look for a partner in a state of loneliness, we will send out the wrong signals, and we often enough attract the wrong type of man. And this will only open up another big bag of problems. You see, a lot of us women, we need healing. Sometimes we go through bad relationships and we need healing from that. But we can't heal if we just automatically move into another relationship, especially if a person who you are looking to needs healing as well. Let's not deny that many a brother needs healing. Sometimes men need more healing than women. They go through things, they see things, they experience things day in and day out, and which they don't talk about. They don't talk about nothing, so they are walking around with this big old weight suitcase trailer on their back. They come to you for refuge, but their problems are still there. Silent rivers run deep, right? So where you may be in a relationship and be in a position like, yeah, you're ready to progress with this man, they haven't even reached the stage of where you're at. Their confusion, their insecurities, their own healing process hasn't even begun. So they've entered your life, but they are not ready to be there. They are just looking for a place of refuge. Now, how many women can be honest and say that they could be on some positive stuff and then they meet the wrong man and boops, It sets them back not one, not two, but sometimes even 3 steps. As now your focus is not on yourself, your focus is on trying to fix what can't be fixed. Because sometimes you can't be the one to fix it. Because it's not your issue, it's their issue. And it is not your internal battle, it is their internal battle. As they haven't come into you, they haven't come to you in their king state. They have come to you as a wounded soldier. So we have to look at single and look at being alone. And if you are lonely, that is the wrong time for you to be seeking somebody, literally. As the signal that you will be sending out is the wrong signal. And what you are going to attract back is not what you really want. Now let's face it, no one wants to be alone. It is not in our nature to be alone. It tells you that from ancient times, you had the king, you had the queen, you had the king, you had the queen, you had the emperor, you had the empress, you had the gods, you had the goddesses. You look in nature, it is the same. So primarily, we are meant to be with someone. We are meant to find our soulmate. We are meant to find our other half, our heartbeat. Because we are of one. Because 1 + 1 becomes 2 and 2 becomes 1. However you want to break down the sides of it. But generally speaking, nobody wants to be alone, and definitely we are not meant to be alone. The problems us ladies face is that we are tired. Many of us ladies are tired. We are tired trying to fix broken men. We are tired of trying to build and put the focus on building if the person we are putting the focus on building with is not of that mindset. So many of us are like, well, I'll just be by myself. I can't be bothered. I'm happy doing me. Doing me. There is nothing wrong in doing me, but who wants to reach a certain age, depending on how old you are and where you are in life? At some point, you are going to want to factor in a companionship. You are going to want to factor in your life partner. You could be in your 20s. You are going to want to meet the person who you can build with. So maybe when you are ready to have children, he is already a factor in your life. And you have journeyed together to get to that next level. Or perhaps you could be in your 30s or 40s and your relationship has broken down and you are starting over again. Because let's face it, life happens and stuff happens. There is no shame in that. No matter what life throws at us, we have to keep things moving and learn to take the rough with the smooth. Sometimes things are just so perfect and other times they are just far from perfect. You know what? That is the beauty of life. We just never know what is going to come next or what to expect. The person you may have been with in your 20s may not be the person who you are with in your 30s. The person you may have children with may not be the person you marry or settle down with. Life happens, stuff happens, and we just have to keep it moving. Now, relationships are all about giving and taking. But if you feel as if you are always giving and the other person is always taking and you're not getting back, then you will feel unbalanced. You will start to unpick at the seams. You will start to feel frazzled. It is only human nature. I've heard this saying that men are the givers and women are the receivers, but this really depends on what level you are thinking on. But many women are the givers. We give a lot. We give our time, our energy, our love, our commitment, our encouragement, our honesty, our support. And then we find that we are shortchanged. Now, I'm only talking to the women who are on that level because there are many women who are just takers. The brothers will be saying the same. Well, I do this and I do that, and all they do is take, take, take. So there is two sides to a coin. So we can't be pointing the fingers at the brothers without first looking into ourselves, what we are doing and what we are bringing to the table. But if we know that we are doing more than enough, we are bringing more than enough, then it is only fair that we would want that back in return. And I am not talking monetary here. I'm not talking about the things you are bringing to the table. Money cannot buy, like your time. You see, we can always make money, spend money, lose money, save money. That is the cycle of money. But time is a thing that we cannot never replace. Lost time is just that, lost time. So we have to know that we are investing our time wisely. I'm going to say that one more time. We have to know that we are investing our time wisely. You see, in this modern era, we have a lot of men who don't want commitment, want to happily go with the flow, but at the same time they want a wifey. But how can you want to be treated like a king? Let's put in its plainest English. You want to be treated like a king, but you aren't willing to crown the woman in her queendom. Does that even make sense? So if you are one of those men who claim they are not ready for all of that, then you can't expect back. You can't expect her to honour you, but you are not willing to step up. You are not ready to commit or step into your king role. You cannot expect to be treated like a king if you are not acting like one. And ladies, we cannot expect to be treated like a queen if we have not stepped into our queendom either. You see, you have to tap into your female energy and know your worth. Honor the queen that resides in you. You see, a queen will never settle for anything less than a king because she knows that she deserves. And she knows the right man will not have a problem in honouring her as the queen in his life. It is not some happy ever after fairy tale. This is real life, real men, real women, real feelings. But only a boy will run away from his true feelings. Whatever role that you are playing in his life, if he is not honouring you as the queen in his life, but yet you are honouring him as the king in yours, something's not right. You are going to be left feeling very unbalanced. Eventually, you will feel shortchanged. And when you do feel shortchanged, that might come out not in the nicest way. But it will come out as you are not feeling satisfied, or at the very most, you're not happy. Sometimes the problem with us women is that we may feel satisfied in one area of our life, but we have to move past the root chakra. We have to move past those feelings and ask, is he addressing me in other areas of my life? Because yes, the bedroom is one aspect, but it is not the only aspect unless you're someone that stays in bed 24/7. Now, if you are the type of person who wants more love, more commitment, time, more energy into what you're trying to build, more support, more encouragement, and if you are putting out and not getting back as much as what you are putting out, then you're going to feel shortchanged. In saying that, upon feeling shortchanged, you only have two options. You either stay in the mess and work with it, or you leave the mess. And I'm not here to advocate either, because some women, they do not like to be alone. They do not want to be alone. They may feel being alone is a negative. So as one door closes, they are looking for that fix. But until you can fix what is wrong within your mindset, then you will more than likely pick up another brother who could probably be like the last brother, because you did not give yourself time to heal. You didn't give yourself time to find out what it is you really wanted because of loneliness. So you are so in tune to feeling comforted that in the long run, you will probably end up in the same situation and thinking, what am I doing wrong? And the only thing you're doing wrong is you're not giving yourself time. There's no race. Just take your time. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are single, don't focus on the loneliness. Focus on what you can do to feel better. How can you be happy in this precise moment in your life? So if you feel like you want to book a course, book a course. Start that project. Read that book. Whatever it is, do it and be happy doing it and enjoy what you are doing. And most importantly, love your life. Not because of who is in your life, but because your life is your life to love. You see, don't focus on the past. Lost love, past pains, regrets, trauma. Leave the past in the past and focus on who you are today and the woman you want to be tomorrow, because every day is a growing day. And we say growth over stagnant energy. So use that time to focus on yourself. And don't put your focus on the next woman and her relationship, because you don't know, many people are living behind a picture perfect portrait. So you can't watch people because you don't know people, and all when you think you know a person, you still don't know a person. You cannot put your focus on lost love either, because that will keep you living in the past. If it's gone, it's gone. If it's meant to come back to you, it will come back to you. True love will always find a way. But we have to learn to read the signs, because let's be honest, good sex will always find a way back too. But if the only thing he can work is the bedroom, well, let's face it, he's not doing a good job. So being single, and I'm not man bashing here, I'm not men bashing. I'm not doing that. I'm not advocating that every woman must be single. What I'm saying is that if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are single, then enjoy your singleness. Enjoy the relationship with self. And that's basically it in a nutshell. Find out what it is that you love. And I hope that when you find out who you love, it is you. You see, us women, we do not have a problem in loving. We have no issues in giving love, because that is what we are. We are nurturers. So we give love. And we might find that we are always giving love, but we also need to give to ourselves. And the only way we can give to ourselves is to give ourselves time to heal, time to grow, and time to really figure out what it is we really want. So if you close the door on one bad apple, now I'm not saying be bitter, be cruel, be vindictive, because those stories of the evil queen exist, because she can exist in us too. But the only problem in tapping into that energy is that we will block the good that must come. Your future blessing. Don't make the trauma of a bad relationship stop you from experiencing the joy of a good one. We must leave fear and take a chance when the time comes. Use your healing process to find out what it is you want and don't want going forward. What questions do you need to ask? Because sometimes, let's face it, we can get so carried away with floating along in the romance of things that we forget to ask the questions we really need to ask. We are so caught up in planning the future, we forget the present, because in your mind, you are already processing it to be your happy ever after, and him to be your prince, the Prince Charming. And 9 out of 10 times, you do not see the red flags and the warning signs, because you're caught up in the fantasy. Now, there's nothing wrong with romance and the fairy tale. There's not a person on this earth who doesn't want their happy ever after. But you have to be able to balance yourself so that when you do come into a relationship, you are centered. so that if someone who is not centered comes into your life, they won't upset your world, because you should be able to see the signs and you won't get stressed, and it definitely will make you start feeling down. Yes, relationships can hurt. And sometimes they are not always plain sailing. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. But if it's meant to be, regardless of anything, it will be. But you shouldn't have to fight for it, beg for it, or feel like you are going to war for it. It should just flow naturally, smooth, and the energy should just be flowing. And if you both hit a curve, then you work it out together. And this is where I have to come back to the king mindset, because if the man in your life hasn't reached his king potential, then when you hit a curb, he isn't looking to work it out. He's looking to run in the opposite direction and put his head in the sand, because he is still that wounded soldier in need of healing. And we women, we have to understand that men do need healing, and sometimes they need more healing than us women, because we will talk about our feelings. Tears are a cleanser. Never be afraid to cry and to release that negative energy out of you through your tears. Where it is easier for us women to relinquish pains, men keep their emotions bottled up, tightly sealed and buried. I hear the talks that men and women are so different, and yes, in a sense we are. But think about it. If we are so different, then we wouldn't be able to come together as one. And that is the most important factor, regardless of any and everything, when two become one. One in heart, one in mind, and one in body. Oneness, a real sense of unity.